Hey folks, I just wanted to welcome everybody to the class and run through a few quick things about how I typically run things. This is sort of just one of those first day of class things like you'd have in a traditional classroom where I just kind of come in and run through the syllabus real quick. Um, Anyway, big thing right off the bat to do when you get into the class is when you first get in, go over here to course information right here. Uh, and you'll find the syllabus. The plagiarism video is important. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But there's a syllabus quiz that will cover the syllabus itself as well as a couple of things in this plagiarism video. So make sure to run through both of those. Big thing on the syllabus itself, make sure to run through the due dates on that. Pretty much every single Friday we will have something due. It'll be either a discussion board or an article review. There's 3 short article reviews that we'll do or an exam. We have 3 exams through the class, so make sure you run through those um, and kind of get a feel for when those are. But pretty much every Friday you've got something due. If you know Thursday or Friday rolls around and you haven't popped into the class and done anything, kind of worry a little bit, jump into class, figure out what you need to do for that week. I really highly do not recommend just popping in once a week. That's probably not a great idea. But if Thursday or Friday rolls around and you have not done a thing, that's the time to really kind of scream a little bit and take care of your work. uh, so anyway. Check out the syllabus, check out the plagiarism video, and then I'll go ahead and click on this. Then take the syllabus quiz. You need to take the syllabus quiz as well as another second thing that you need to do is go into the discussion section and introduce yourself to the class. Those are 2 requirements that we have. I have it in my class. Some other classes you might have to just do a little assignment, but you have to do something in the class. Otherwise, there's a possibility of being dropped from the class. So make sure you take care of, for me, syllabus quiz and introduce yourself to the class. After that, go and again run through take a look through the assignments. It'll tell you what you're going to do the first week. There's a cool music video right here. Check that out. Stuff like that. Like I said, something's due every Friday. Big thing to note that's in the syllabus, the late policy for the class is if you don't turn it in on the day it's due, it's 10% off every day that it's late. So if you go 10 days late and you haven't done the work, it's not worth anything anymore. So you can still do the work, I guess, but it won't be worth any kind of points. So there's 10% off per day. So really make sure you don't get late stuff. And that sounds like, oh, it's only 10% off per day, but those small assignments can add up. I've had people that pulled a really bad grade because they didn't take care of their small stakes discussion boards and stuff like that. It will really get after you after a while. So don't fall into that trap. So like we said, so after that, course content. Every week pretty much you will have some kind of video in here on course content. I've broken them down by weeks. I went ahead and there's some weeks that you don't have any content, just so that the numbers are all there and everything kind of makes sense. I went ahead and put no content on there, just so if you click on that, it's available, but there's nothing in the folder, just so that we have I don't know, I like numbers and numbers make sense. I'm not a math person, but 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd be weird if you went 1, 2, 3, 5. So, but most weeks, this is just a test video. Don't pay attention. Well, let's go ahead and delete that. We'll leave that in in the video right there. That'd be cool. Anyway, most of the time you'll have a little a video of me talking about some kind of random thing. It does have to do with the class. It's not just random like this video. And a lot of times the discussion boards will actually link to or have some kind of content related to that. So week 3, you're going to watch a video on Tutankhamun, as well as a repatriation of Tutankhamun's stuff. And then if we scroll down here to week 3 on that, you know, the discussion that week has to do with that. So sometimes the discussion videos and the discussion boards themselves, they won't quite jive with what's being covered in the chapter. It's just that sometimes we cover stuff in the chapters that doesn't really lend itself to a discussion very well. So like if we're talking U.S. history, there's a chapter early on in the first half of U.S. history on the market revolution. Well, that's kind of interesting, but nobody really wants to talk about that too awful much. I mean, you might be an economics major, and that's your jam. But most of the rest of the class is like, no, gosh, we don't really care about that. So I try to, you know, have a lot of stuff that actually does provoke some discussion and stuff. So sometimes they won't always line up with what's in the chapters. Don't sweat that. It just happens. Try to keep things a little bit lively and stuff that I think will appeal to most folks. So now the instructions on this one are for World History 1. Your class may differ if you're taking U.S. History 2. Pay attention to the specific instructions on that, or U.S. History 1. So the instructions may vary just a smidge, so pay attention to yours. But most of the time we'll have discussion boards where we'll just answer a question, 250 word minimum word count on that, and 75 word count replies to other students. You need 2 of those replies to other students on that before we get into the article review. Sorry, jumping around all over the place here. You can't just go, wow, I agree with you. We should take all the stuff from Egypt and put it back. Well, that doesn't really promote too awful much discussion, and you're way below the word count on just saying that. You need to sort of add to the discussion. Why do you think that all of these things should be repatriated to Egypt? What are the fallout from that? You know, Egypt's got their game together pretty much, so they're able to preserve a lot of stuff now. But what if you're saying, well, we should return everything to everywhere? Well, what if you're returning it to a country that doesn't have the capabilities for preservation? If that country is too, unfortunately, impoverished to allocate funds to that, you need to kind of add to the discussion there. And so we were just, you know, working on Egypt right here, but, you know, other stuff as well. You know, if we have that market revolution thing that we were talking about, that no one would want to talk about in the U.S. history classes, you know, if you dealt with that, well, what about child labor issues and stuff? You know, there's some wonderful positive things about the market revolution, but there's also some kind of unfortunate crap that went on. So, you know, address those things. Don't just go, I agree, that's a wonderful essay. That's not worth any points. If you want to do that, I guess you could, but it's not worth any points. Moving on from that. So that's most of the class will do discussion board kind of stuff and talk about the content that we're covering. We have 3 article reviews, and these are worth 40 points. So they're double the points of a regular discussion board. Also, the article review itself is 40 points. You also have 2 replies during that week, just like regular, and those are worth 5 points apiece. So the discussion, the article review thing, that's worth 50 points, and there's 3 of those. Tests are worth 50 points. So these are the same value as tests. Easy place to find articles is from National Geographic, Smithsonian Magazine. A thing, no encyclopedias, not at all. Can't use Britannica, Britannia, I don't know what that's, Britannica, yeah, that's the encyclopedia, or World Book or something like that. No encyclopedia articles, those are not good. Also, none, not at all. You cannot go to history.com and look up the Boston Tea Party, or, you know, some other issues with Tutankhamun or some of the earlier pharaohs or something like that. This line right here, though, is very important. For your class, make sure that you are lined up on this. So if this is World History 1, it has to address a topic in World History 2, 1400. Okay, if we're in U.S. History 1, it'll say this has to address a topic in United States History 2, 1877. It has to fit with the scope of the class. So if this is United States History 1 and you're writing about something in Greece, that doesn't fulfill the assignment. You know, it also has to be something from human history. You can't write about, you know, the environmental impact of ants or something like that that you borrowed from your biology class. Not gonna work. So it has to all of them have to have something in human history, but they have to pertain to the scope of the class. So nothing from history.com. There is a way around that. If you do go to history.com, there are some news topics in there that are actual articles that you can use. And I'll do a separate video on actually picking up which good stuff that you can get from history.com. But if it's just, you know, the regular one, you can't just go to history.com and pull up Boston Massacre or something like that. That's not going to work. I'll show you specifically what parts of the website that you can use if you want to use that. But honestly, easiest thing to do is find a historical article from National Geographic, Smithsonian Magazine. There's other articles that you can go through. I'll do some through the library. There's a way to find some articles that way. But the easiest way, Smithsonian Magazine, National Geographic. But we'll go through some other ones. You can also go to Google and click news and type the name of the event that you want. And typically that will put up some kind of an article, news article related to that story. It absolutely has to be a reputable source. So no Alex Jones kind of stuff, no conspiratorial garbage, none of that stuff. It absolutely has to be reputable. A good guide to figuring out if something is reputable or not. Doesn't always happen this way, but tends to. But a good guide is if it has a print component to their website. So National Geographic, they put out a magazine. Smithsonian Magazines puts out a physical magazine. You know, somebody spouting nonsense on the internet typically doesn't put out a magazine. So that's a good guide. Sometimes it doesn't work. There are, you know, National Enquirer. National Enquirer is a garbage publication. There we go. I was looking for something that wouldn't be political. National Enquirer is a garbage publication. They are not reputable, but they also put out a print component to their nonsense. Well, that's not reputable, so I wouldn't take something from National Enquirer. Sorry. But anyway, here's a good thing to look through on what kind of stuff that you're looking for in the article. This is why stuff from encyclopedias and history.com, just the topic part of things, doesn't really work. You're looking for claims that the author makes, evidence for those claims that are supported. A lot of times what I'm looking for in these articles, by making you do news articles or something like that is usually there's some kind of new evidence that's come out. There's new revelations, new discoveries. Within the last 3 years, um, the Confederacy, during the Civil War, actually constructed a submarine, and there's been all kinds of controversy on what actually sank this submarine and killed the crew. Well, there's new discoveries that have been made in 2017, and then some further research was done in 2019 that actually makes a really convincing case for why the crew on this Confederate submarine died. And that's really interesting because it's new information that's come out on this, and that's kind of why I'm asking you for articles and stuff like that. If you just went to history.com or an encyclopedia and you look up the Boston Massacre, they're just going to give you a really general rundown of this, and they're not going to have some of the newer interpretations or new discoveries on this, and that's what we're trying to get at here. So if you do have a question, is this source a good source, or something like that, or I'm not really sure what to cover, is this topic okay, or something like that. Most of the time they are, but if you do want to check with me, shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to let you know if that's a good source or not, or here's something even cooler that you might look at for this source or for that topic that you're wanting to look into. Big thing that you need to catch right there, at minimum this assignment needs to be 500 words. So regular discussions are 250 words, these are 500. I'm wanting you to go into a lot more depth into your discussion on these. Also, big thing, you have to absolutely put the website to the article at the bottom or top somewhere on your post. If you post the your article review and you forget, just go in and post it as a reply to your discussion. That's totally fine. But you have to have your article website in there somewhere. If you don't have it, it's going to get a 15 point penalty. I used to just say, it doesn't count if you don't have it, but you do need to have your source in there so that I can then go and look and see what, kind of compare that to what you're writing to make sure that you are having, a valid source and you're not just kind of making some stuff up. So you definitely you are required to have that on there. So make sure you've got that in there. Last couple of things. So, last couple of things. Make sure you do your syllabus quiz. They're all of the tests, all of the exams. They're not in here right now, but they will be in here. All of the exams are in this file: syllabus, quiz, worksheet, and exams. At the bottom of this, you'll have test 1, 2, and final exam. So that's where everything is going to be as far as that goes. For the exams, they are 50 multiple choice. You'll have 45 minutes to finish that up. Here's the deal. It's open book, but it's 45 minutes. So you have time to look up some stuff, but you're not going to have time to look up everything. So the big thing you need to do, check the syllabus, see which chapters that you need to read. Make sure you're keeping up with the chapters because they're typically 5 or 6 chapters per test. So keep up with the readings. Make sure you read everything that we're covering in the textbook for the exam, and you have a pretty good familiarity with it. Personally, I like to take notes when I read. You don't have to, but it helps me to retain the information. So if you make sure you read everything, like I said, I personally take notes when I read so that it further cements it in my head. And then, for most of the questions, you'll be able to remember what you read. For some of them, you'll have to look them up, but you have time to do that. That's if you read everything. If you go at this and you try to look up every individual question, you're going to run out of time. So make sure you read, study for it, and then if you do need to look up some of the questions, you'll have time, but you don't have time to look up all of them. So 50 multiple choice questions, 45 minutes. Check the syllabus to make sure what chapters are covered in that. Do these, they'll be available pretty much from the start of the class. So make sure, you take care of them early on. If you fail to do it on the due date, it's going to get hit with a 10% penalty per day. So, go ahead and take care of these early. If you just pop in and my laptop died, well, why didn't you do it the day before? Make sure you have time to take care of your tests and stuff. You don't wait till the last minute to do that. I think that's basically about it. The source worksheet video and the source worksheet, this will be due later in the semester. Check out the syllabus on that. I have a video here, sorry, explaining how to do this assignment, and then the assignment itself is just several multiple choice questions, and then there are a couple of paragraphs that you'll need to write up addressing something on that. It's not a really difficult assignment, but you do need to take care of it at some point. And check the syllabus for the due date on that as well. And I'll post announcements on when that's due. Anyway, I think that's about it. Go and jump in the class, take a look through the syllabus, watch the plagiarism video, stop in, take care of your syllabus quiz, and then go down here to discussions and introduce yourself. And we'll see you running through the class. Thanks.